Transamérica. Christian, tuas primeiras oportunidades no Paranaense 19, né? Campeão com os aspirantes, voltou a ter oportunidades desde o estadual em 20.
Boss, noticed. Do you need any help with that or? Listen, I've got this. Don't worry about. Flippin' heck, mate, this is taking a while. Mr. Scolari, just pass it. No. Furthermore, why am I still waiting for this guy to open? I swear down, just give me one more minute and... Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This of course is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? My date cooked his dogs a better meal than me, so I walked out. What's going on this week, lads? Come on. Yeah, babe, I can't lie. I'm thinking of doggy tonight. Yeah, I'm way ahead of you, darling. Now, this is an anonymous story here in terms of the people involved, but I can categorically say this is about Alexis Sanchez. So he's not scoring on or off the pitch. On to the football, though, now, and... Oh, my PC crashed. I guess we can't continue the football. I'd honestly just rather not cover it this week. There was a drastic switch up of activities. Yeah, I'll be honest, we lost the Champions League final. The quadruple? Me? Nah, never that. I said quadriceps. I'm going to the gym. Real Madrid won their 14th Champions League crown this week with a narrow 1-0 victory over the Reds in Paris, earning Carlo Ancelotti his 4th UCL title. We got live scenes of Karim Benzema showing off his medal to Mbappe on international duty.
Told man don't be comparing man to these dabbing ass rappers, B. Tell your guy come get your fucking shit.
Fede Valverde was clearly feeling the nerves on the day, saying that he'd not been to the toilet this many times in 24 hours in his life. But for him and Real fans, those nerves would soon turn to joy after Vinicius Jr. grabbed the winner. Ancelotti himself was involved in the celebrations. David Alaba had his trusty chair out again. Toni Kroos and Modric celebrated a little bit differently. And upon more Champions League glory for Luka Modric, the Croatian FA were wilding out, taking digs at Man City and PSG for not investing in Croatian players, hence having not won the competition. It's a shithousery award for my Croat friends. But let's take it back to the start of the weekend for Liverpool fans.
Bang, see you later, you go in prison. You go in prison. And you're getting named and shamed.
You know what? We deserve to lose after all. One group of Liverpool fans had a journey to Paris all planned out. And it was a coach trip with a company known as Coach Innovation Limited, except the bus never turned up.
Never ever use Coach Innovations, because they just fucking leave you stranded at the Rocket like a dickhead.
And that's because it was a fake company set up by an Everton fan. If you go on Company House and take a look at his profile, it was literally set up by one man here just before the final. It's a shithousery award for Mr. Arlison. That's the best coaching that Everton have seen in years. Another group set sail across the channel to get to the French capital, but there were wild scenes on arrival.
There were disturbing scenes outside the ground before kickoff as French police fired tear gas at fans.
The game was in the end delayed by 30 minutes after thousands of fans got in with fake tickets, leaving tons of real holders stranded outside. We got live scenes of the stewards checking the actual validity of the tickets here. In fairness, they do look similar, but paper tickets after all the Euros were on phones. In 2022, should we just use fax machines for them next year? This is a big opportunity to get in without paying. This is the feds catching me saying my dog ate my real ticket.
Name and address now, I'll arrest you.
Right, my name is... Can I jump?
You're under arrest.
But the police were heavy-handed here, throwing tear gas at groups including kids, and there were guns pointed at both Real and Liverpool fans. Now, I'll accept a bit of trouble, but not getting flashbanged, Chris. France's sport minister blamed Liverpool for leaving the fans to their own devices, which is a load of shit because clubs usually leave fans to get into a stadium on their own. Maybe you should prevent mass fraud from happening next time, boss. There were severe delays, but all in the stadium were unaware. Camila Cabello was performing whilst people were getting stun grenaded in the background. She wasn't impressed with her reception either. I don't think Liverpool fans were even listening to her. One kiss is all it takes. Falling in love. 9:30 local time now, and both sets of players are ready to go. Now, I spoke about it a lot more here, but it was a cagey first half with Liverpool on top. Thibaut Courtois was a brick wall, and there was a questionable offside late on, and it set up an important half-time team talk. Fucking hell, lads, let's go. Karim Benzema had the plan written out on his hand, and it seemed to work, because 10 minutes into the second half...
Valverde then drives it in, and they go ahead. Big man thing, yeah? It's not looking good, bruv.
After all our preparation ahead of the game and we were 1-0 down, this is what we actually needed from the brain sensors attached to Trent. Man on, mate, man on. Real goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois was about to put in a man-of-the-match performance, denying Salah and co multiple times to secure victory. Apparently he missed his brother's wedding for the game. I wouldn't be shocked if he still did a madness. Here's Jurgen Klopp finding an injured Divock Origi after he couldn't bail us out again. Speaking of bail, he got a standing ovation from Real Madrid fans for collecting his final Champions League. Oh, God. Horace, don't worry. You were just sleeping. Not as good of a reception, though, for Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid's trophy parade. After he turned Los Blancos down in favour of staying at PSG. And look, it's still been a good season. One of my favourite seasons in terms of memories for the club. We still took home 2 trophies and we had a parade for it. Manchester City fans were giving us stick as if they didn't do the exact same thing in 2010. Klopp doesn't even care about the Carabao Cup. Do you even think he was in attendance, mate? Elsewhere in Liverpool news, though, I swear we'll move on from this in a second. And Sadio Mane has allegedly decided to leave the club this summer. To be fair, he didn't look at his happiest during the trophy parade. And supposedly Bayern Munich are his desired destination. Just slap on any Bundesliga shirt, mate, and they'll be there in 20 minutes. In fairness, they have made a bid already. It's just a shame it's physically offensive. 30 million euros. Are you thinking of a different Mane, bro? In terms of replacement, whether we need one or not, I would love to see Christopher Nkunku come in after a great season at Leipzig. It's gonna be emotional though, seeing him leave, man. I'd just like to thank all of the coaching staff and... Wait, hang on, what's that in the... Nah, I'm only joking, man. And speaking of which, Mo, if you could just...
Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract.
Well, the so-called richest game in football took place this week as well, and would see either Nottingham Forest or Huddersfield Town promoted to the Premier League. And in the end, it would be the 2-time European champions who'd win at Wembley. Now, it was only 1-0 here, but not without controversy, as Huddersfield had 2 Stonewall penalties turned away by John Moss. Match fixed. These are the scenes as Steve Cooper stumbled out of stealth Nottingham smoking area, with the man refereeing the game at the end of the night.
He's a good dad and he's a good human being, and that's the most you want to hear from anyone. Because him as a friend, we've been through so much ups and downs. Me and him will get through everything.
Patrick Stewart supports Huddersfield, you know. He can do serious X-Men shit if you wrong him. Look, as much as we all wanted Forest to win, no one wants Huddersfield in the Premier League. Not even Huddersfield want Huddersfield in the Premier League. But they were physically robbed of over £100 million here through awful refereeing. I suppose they were just getting both clubs ready for the refereeing standards in the Prem. Fullback Jed Spence wasn't needed by Neil Warnock and Middlesbrough at the start of the season, and Warnock had choice words about him. He tweeted this as a response to Neil after winning the playoff final.
By all means enjoy it, but enjoy it by being fucking disciplined here.
It's a shithousery award for Jed as well. To be fair, Mr. Warnock did take it pretty well. But overall, it's great to see Nottingham Forest back in the Prem. They're a side that just feels like they belong.
Okay, alright, and the second thing is... welcome to the Premier League!
Now, over in Germany, and there's the news of Alphonso Davies and Jordan Hatima's breakup, something I didn't want to talk about because I'm not okay magazine, until I saw this video.
Just because Kylian signed a new deal and you love him now.
He's just so good.
Mbappe is not getting away with this when Bayern play PSG, bro.
I might smash into somebody.
This is outrageous. Here's the Bayern wingback seeing the vid live on Twitch for the first time. It's gonna be scenes in the tunnel when Alphonso plays against Kylian at the World Cup in Qatar.
Because that's the mental you can fuck right off.
Now, popular UK show Love Island is back on our screens in just a week, and the lineup has been announced, including former Liverpool, Real Madrid and Newcastle striker Michael Owen's daughter. Tonight, as one girl pulls in the villa, her dad pulls his groin. Listen, look, big ups her, innit? But I beg she doesn't have the chat of her dad. Now look, the chances are if she stays in longer than everyone else, she will win. Here's her dad when she brings up an EC-145 Medivac helicopter for the first time. Speaking of medical emergencies, she better not be as injury prone as her old man. Now everyone, welcome to the villa. Oh god, oh my knee. She's gotta break the ice, not break her metatarsal. At least all of this is better than the self-tape Jake Paul Scholes made with his daughter. Man City posted a tweet welcoming all of the promoted teams to the Premier League. Yeah, I can't wait for you to welcome them with 18-0 victories. Romelu Lukaku's lawyers are supposedly meeting up with Inter this week. Lawyers, you know. It's fitting, as this whole transfer saga's been a crime. He's one more negative story away from Chelsea just throwing him out onto the streets. United announced that Ralph Rangnick will not be staying on in his consultant role that he agreed beforehand. Man failed his probation period. Look, he tried to get back to the training ground, but our higher-ups just aren't letting him back to Carrington.
I'm not going to tell you again. Fuck off. Your shit.
There was a public spat on Twitter between former England centre-backs Rio Ferdinand and John Terry this week, as Rio only put JT 5th in his all-time list of centre-backs. Terry posted stats on his Insta to try and prove why he was wrong, and Rio came back saying he was lucky he put him in his top 5 at all, after he racially abused Anton. Flipping it, it's an episode of EastEnders. You've burnt yet another bridge, John. I mean, come on, did you have to bring me into it? Now, over in Italy, and they've released their new home kit for 2022. It's giving me tea towel vibes, I'll be honest. I can't wait to see it make its debut at the World Cup. Wait, no. Oh, wait, hang on a second. We've got a check coming in here. Not given. After UEFA Conference League victory with Roma, a mural was seen of Jose Mourinho painted as Julius Caesar, and a video of him actually parking a bus emerged. Yep, you know what? That should do the trick, mate. Italian minnows Monza were promoted to Serie A for the first time in their history. That after beating Pisa 6-4 on aggregate in the playoffs. An impressive late goal as well from Monza here. And there were more outrageous scenes in France in terms of crowd trouble after Saint-Etienne lost to Angers to confirm the relegation to Ligue 2.
A special night for the players of Angers. Says Etienne go down. One of the giants of the French game.
There were scraps on the pitch and flares were thrown at coaches like it was Hogwarts. I mean, this is countless incidents now, even removing the Champions League final. The amount of shit that's been going on fan-wise in Ligue 1 recently is ridiculous, and the French FA have got to do more. After scoring a goal that helped keep Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, they sent a signed shirt over to Borussia Dortmund's Yusuf Moukoko. He thinks it's a nice gesture, but it's actually to trick him into signing it because it actually doubles as a Stuttgart contract. In the US, and Jake Paul has taken to the world of football recently.
Let's go Liverpool championship game. Let's go Reds. Mo Salah, this one's for you.
You're distinctly average, but that is a compliment.
Hey, look, the guy tweets about betting on Mo Salah once, and now he thinks he can kick ball. Why is he taking this penalty as if his legs are sewn on backwards? In Spain, and big props to Real Valladolid on promotion back to La Liga, the club is part owned by R9, like Brazilian Ronaldo. And as you can see from these pictures, he's very pleased. If no one gets the R9 trim at that club for next season, I'm gonna be fuming. And after beating Moreirense in the Portuguese playoffs, GD Chavez have been promoted to the top tier of Portuguese football. To celebrate, they got 2 of their players to head down to the shops and get some extra beers for the party.
Fucking discipline.
In the Netherlands, and ADO Den Haag lost the thriller of playoff themselves after a 4-4 draw. The fans didn't take it too well. These lot versus Saint-Etienne would be a diplomatic incident. The under-17s Euros are underway, and the Netherlands have managed to make it into the final, in part thanks to this ice-cold penalty from youngster Isaac Babardi under pressure. His teammate in this one, however, was simply trying to help out around the stadium. And the tournament is not only where we find the next talents of world football, but where we find our first goal of the week. And it comes in the form of an absolute screamer from Portugal's Dario Asugo. Meanwhile, over in Estonia, and we have our second goal of the week. It really wouldn't be FTW without some kind of halfway line goal, would it? Meanwhile, Meanwhile, over in the African Champions League, and Wydad of Morocco took a shock victory over Egypt's Al Ahly, who had already posted a congratulations to Real on winning the UEFA Champions League as a sort of joint venture, as if they'd basically already won the African version. Probably one that should have stayed in the drafts, if we're being honest. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. Jesus fucking Christ, lad. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home, and the Premier League announced that Steven Bergwijn had won the Improbable Comeback Award after his 2 late goals to claim 3 points against Leicester. What a trophy for Spurs. Hey, listen, we're making them up at this point. And now, for the best supporter called Adeniran, who makes YouTube videos. 250 Leeds fans travelled to former player and kind of club legend, really, Pablo Hernandez's final game of the season to give him a heartfelt goodbye. They actually travelled over to Spain as he played in his final game for Castellón. Meanwhile, in the National League playoff semi-finals, Wrexham faced off against Grimsby Town for a place at Wembley, and this one was a ridiculous game. 4-4 into extra time, and with just 2 minutes of the game to go, Grimsby Town take a long throw-in and grab the most dramatic of winners to keep their promotion hopes alive. Hey, the next plot of Deadpool is going to be taking out the whole coastline. Over in Sweden, and with Halmstad trailing 2-0 into injury time, they scored once in the 92nd minute, and then again through their goalkeeper Nilsson Safqvist in the 94th. In the US now, and
this opportunity, Dixon chips it right at the keeper.
You are just a fool.
Staying in the USL, the second tier of American football, not that American, but we've got an absolute howler of an own goal here.
Oh no!
I'll be back. Pass.
In the Copa Sudamericana, and Fluminense won 10-1 against Bolivian opposition in their most recent game. I think it's fair to say the comeback is not really on here. This is the moment I've been waiting for. My name in lights, a screamer from distance, destined for the top corner. Yeah, no, if someone did this to me in 5-a-side, I'm double-footing them. Over in Kosovo, and I don't really know the backstory of what's going on here, but fans are quite clearly not best pleased at the fact that their club's given away a penalty, and so reached down from the stands to rip the net away from the goal so that the pen couldn't be taken. In Brazil, and I feel for this goalkeeper, really, because it's a tough day at the office playing against the pitch as well. In Croatia, and a Hajduk Split won the Croatian Cup for the first time in a while. The scenes on the pitch at full time were incredible, and certain fans even managed to take one of the goalposts home at the end of the match. Now though, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, and the conclusion of the Romanian season has taken place this week with some pretty landmark results. Historically big side Dinamo Bucharest found themselves relegated to the 2nd division, but all of that though, because during the game, one of the coaches managed to get slide tackled.
Shut your mouth.
Over in Chile now, and don't mess around with the ad boards on the sub bench because they might just take out a coach. We've got probably the greatest goal line clearance in all living history over in the world of futsal. Western United created history over in the A-League, winning the league for the first time in their history after only being promoted to the division in the 1920 season. But it's not all great footballing ability down under, because in the Queensland regional leagues now, listen, the ball boy behind the net was screaming for it. There were ridiculous scenes between Panathinaikos and PAOK in the Greek Cup final, including delays because of fan trouble before the match, then a rock being thrown at one of the players and injuring his arm, before Panathinaikos in the end beat PAOK in a landmark moment for the club, having almost gone out of business 8 years ago and been relegated to the 3rd tier. I'll be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this football club, but they're Hungarian and their fans are not happy. They were relegated from the 1st tier in something that I understand as a bit of a shock last season, and their fans were certainly expectant of an immediate promotion. They didn't manage it, and instead the fans protested by not attending the match and spelling out on the seats that everything at the club is shit. At least they're not fans of this club though over in the United Arab Emirates, because I think they'd be even more frustrated at how this goalkeeper conceded a penalty. Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now, this is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football, and this time we're heading over to Paraguay, because we've seen some interesting pitch invaders in our time in this series. Humans, dogs, cattle, but I don't think at any point have we ever seen a pig enter the state of play. Alright, okay, come on. Someone just sort this out and make sure this pig is left okay. I guess you could argue we should save its bacon. Nah, get off the field. Get on to the weird stuff, though, now. Over in Ecuador, and in a penalty shootout between Libertad and Bonita Banana, great name, by the way, we saw a record for Ecuadorian football, being the longest penalty shootout, I think, in the nation's history. It ended 19-18 to Bonita Banana, who I'm glad won, and there were a total of 42 spot kicks taken. In the Austrian second division, and we've got a story that it genuinely took me about 10 minutes to understand, but there's a title race going on between Austria Lustenau and FAC. Elsewhere in the league, and a side called Admira Varka are under serious threat of not being able to finance the rest of the season. They're in serious financial strife. So much so that they couldn't really even afford to take their players to their next game. Austria Lustenau, one of the teams involved in the title race, has paid for them to travel to their next game, because if they can't play and all of their results are expunged or removed by the Austrian FA, it means that their title rivals will win the league instead of them. And finally, over in Tunisia, and one already relegated side were facing off against another at threat of joining them. Into the 10th minute of extra time, and knowing that their opponents will suffer the same fate as them if the result stays the same, fans of the already relegated Tunisian side called for their players to let their opposition score. And sure enough, they did so at the end of the game, ensuring Zazi's here's survival. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.